Simona. I'm a research project leader at Huygen, and I'm representing today this new project that has just started in May, and it's a 3 years project that has been financed by the European Commission. So the project name is TripleA-reno. So it's attractive, acceptable, and affordable deep renovation that are supported by this consumer-oriented approach, based also on this evidence-based approach, and then I'll go into explain why and what it means. So this is a coordination and support action, and it means that the project will reuse a lot of knowledge from a previous project, creating some sort of collaboration and exchange in a more interdisciplinary way. The call, it's the EE11, overcoming market barriers and promoting deep renovation of buildings. And these are, let's say, the challenges, barriers to overcome, and expected impact that were required by the call. As you can see, the challenges, of course, as we know, they need to increase the renovation rate in the European building stock, improve energy performance, of course, environmental sustainability, health, and well-being. The key barriers to overcome through this call were non-technological, so not just related to technology per se, but also involving users in the loop of technologies along the whole value chain, so from design to operation and to reuse. And these were the expected impact. So the preliminary idea came up at this conference, Getting Our Homes Future Ready. They were organized by Housing Europe together in a framework of another project we are leading at Huygen, which is ProfTrack, which is based on constant professional development of architects and workers in the sector. And basically we come up with the same ideas and needs for the construction sector, especially when it comes to deep renovation practices. And one of the key points was that these key renovation practices are top-down and supply-driven, and there is a big mismatch between what the users can afford or what the users understand and what it's offered by the market. And also one of the key elements was that the users, so the people that are the one that had power to invest into these renovations, they were not able to understand how to proceed forward, in a sense that there were too many stakeholders involved when it comes to investing in innovative technologies, and there was a need of providing this one fit-for-all solution, one solution that were ready to be grasped from the users in a more easy way, also easy way to understand. And also another point was this lack of data, the fact that there was no proof on how the building was performing before and how to prove the building needs to move on during the renovation process with an improved performance. So as I said, this is a coordination and support action. So the idea was to combine some of the previous knowledge that we had already in this field. And we are coordinators now of a couple of projects, Horizon 2020. And so the idea was to reuse this as a snowball effect. Knowledge that came from technologies, for instance, plug-and-play technologies for deep renovation, the one that we use in More Connect, but also Bear Team inspired Progettone and Picture Endure. So these are all projects that involves deep renovation plug-and-play solutions. But also how to address market barriers at the local scale, focusing on specific drivers. For instance, one of the interesting examples that we saw in a presentation before was to renovate the rooftop of building by paying off the whole investment. So this is really like a specific driver that that should be used to boost the penetration rate at the local, but also with a higher renovation replication potential. concept professional development, and of course user awareness. So by combining all these elements, the TripleAreno will provide some ICT solutions to make acceptance and decision making for deep renovation more accessible and more attractive to consumers first, but also to end users. So we have these two levels from the demand side and supply side. It means that the renovation, the process of deep renovation needs to be more clear for the demand side, of course, for instance, by the users or the condominium or people who own their own house, but also from the supply side, from the ESCO, from the concept developers and from the architects. So the way we're going to do this, and I'm going to go back to the slide, is by developing this gamification platform. So the core idea of TripleAreno will be to gather data from buildings that we are going to use as a demonstration cases, and make sense of this data, not just transforming data or information into knowledge, but to make it attractive. Since we identify these different layers, the different stakeholders, the TripleAreno gamification platform will work at different level. So the design phase, the data that will be gathered from for instance, the actual performance of the building will be reused to create a sort of visual design guidelines for designers that could actually select the most appropriate solution for deep renovation in a sort of like a SimCity or Lego environment. The same will be done during the construction phase. It means that all the manufacturers involved in the construction site will make use of this gamification platform for the interaction with the occupants, but also with the other partners and stakeholders involved during the construction phase. But also during the in-use phase, so also the occupants during the actual the usage of the building will be able to visualize the data and to perform some sort of gamified feature or gamified actions. For instance, being rewarded if they were performing good or better than their peers or within their household. The idea will be to create also a community. So it's not just at the individual level, but also at the level of a condominium or the microgrid or micro scale. So one of the idea, especially for what concerned the involvement of this data-enabled architecture for end users and, for instance, for designer, was to create this TripleAreno Roadshow. Involving key European umbrella organization, the TripleAreno Roadshow will organize awareness-raising event throughout Europe to reach out a minimum number of 750 stakeholders to increase their competences, to increase their knowledge on how to use data or make sense out of data coming from the buildings. Increasing the skills and the capabilities in terms of knowledge on certification and real performance. For what specifically concerns the architects involved in this project, one of the partners is it's Architects Council of Europe, and so the idea will be through a user network to respond on one of the key questions. It means how to guarantee the performance in use and close this performance gap by allowing the architect or supporting the architect with this tool, with this gamification platform, in a way that also architect can be more at ease in designing, building, or to perform this advanced deep renovation actions. There will be a lot of tools supporting this this gamification platform, design tools, but also monitoring tools, methodologies that also involve applied anthropology, for instance, to understanding users' needs and to design solution in this sort of idea of co-creation with the architects, with the users, all together. So this is the idea of the roadshow. These are also elements of the presentation that were stressing the need of supporting users and supporting architects with user-centric ICT tools for keeping the pace of constant update in their professional practice, and addressing this performance gap as well. But these are elements that we tackled also before when I was mentioning the coordination and support action involving different projects in this project specifically. Just to conclude, these are the expected impact of the project. So we are going to have 7 demonstration cases around Europe. The idea will be to address 11% of the existing dwellings in Europe, but by addressing specific case-specific realities in these different countries, with an average of a minimum 60% of primary energy savings, we would like to be able to address this increase of renovation in the residential sector, supporting architects and different stakeholders to this idea of proven performance, energy, environmental quality, and health altogether. If you have a question about the project, we're going to present the project at the kickoff meeting on Tuesday. So it's still like all just on the paper, but we will be happy to keep you informed all along the way. Thank you.